I'm in your arms, Annie Hansen. My heart sings me away. I'm off this island, to a land of locusts and mead on the BC mainland, and past that, far inland on the prairies, to a city of oil sands workers and towers, where my boyhood spent itself in silly robot tales and backyard shenanigans. Then, on past there, to my crazy single mother and my nurturing aunt, to my girlfriend Suzanne, long gone to a husband and children, then a short career at Dairyland with the wonderful workers there who befriended me. What were their names, Annie? And then to a degree in criminology at the University of Alberta, and then to a life of law enforcement in Vancouver and Victoria, then to Serendipity Island, where we were stuck. Why am I in your arms, Annie Hansen? What confluence of stars led to our meeting in the small Canadian town of Serendipity in the Discovery Islands off the coast of Vancouver? I, Mark Wesley Snow, could have been a big wheel in the Vancouver RCMP detachment, like my father before me, as my mother Mary related, my freewheeling, crazy, star-crossed, selfish mother, who in the beginning you so resembled. No more, Annie. You are not quite sane, but you are mine. Not dead, not gone by your own hand like my mother. Almost forgotten except for the single note she penned. I'm sorry for living, my boy. Get on with it. I love you. This is on me. Perhaps the sanest thing she'd ever said to me. There came a day when I regretted not speaking to her. That day was her funeral. I mourned her still, mostly with guilt and a huge dollop of unresolved love. Annie Hansen and Mark Snow moved to Edmonton, Alberta on a Monday in the summer of 2019. With their golden retriever Chuckles, they disembarked from Serendipity, the island they had called home together for 7 years, since he first arrived, handsome and blonde, to help Annie with a serial murder case that had the small Canadian island town stunned and stumped. Since then, he'd stayed by her side through another brutal series of murders in Serendipity in 2016, and her estranged father's involvement in the drug scene that led to the massacres. The island was no longer a refuge for Annie, who battled the voices and visions of schizophrenia as she solved crimes with her lover. 3 years after the murders in Serendipity, Mark, with feet that never stayed long on one patch of earth, accepted a promotion as a staff sergeant with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Far from the international bustling city of Vancouver and the quaint capital city of Victoria, far from the cozy island, Mark accepted the move to Alberta as he deemed it was best for Annie. He felt Annie would settle nicely in Alberta, away from the memories she harbored of her time on the streets in Vancouver and the horrific massacres on Serendipity Island. Edmonton, Alberta would be a fresh start for Annie, and a hometown full of memories for Mark. He went where the Mounties sent him, and was glad of it. His office in Sherwood Park was within a half-hour drive of their Edmonton apartment. The Mounties took care of their move. Though they had few belongings, they planned to replace the old green and blue patterned sofa when they got to their new home, but not his beloved green recliner. The Monstera Deliciosa plant came with them, a glass kitchen table and sturdy black leather swivel chairs, their new queen bed with the velvet headboard, their motorbikes and garden tools, and a plethora of boxes. They arrived on June 3rd, 2019, with smoke stinging their eyes, swirled on easterly winds from wildfires in British Columbia. There was intermittent sun and later rain, like at home. A city of nearly 1 million people, capital of the Prairie Province of Alberta. In a bigger city way, Edmonton mirrored the snugness of the little island town they had called home. Not so much like metropolitan Vancouver, which Mark loved, but for Annie, their new apartment at Regency Towers, the green spaces and the surrounding area were nurturing and comfortable. Mark told himself that he'd made the move for Annie, but also for his itchy feet and dreams.